in our song Girls Girl, right? Like
in a gay way.
Listening in a gay way.
Yeah.
And in Girls Girl, it's very much like inside lesbian baseball in terms of the verses. But in terms of the chorus, it's just like, oh, so you love everybody but me.
Except for me.
Which is the whole world can relate to.
Totally.
But we were able to because, I luckily I'm not just a fag. I have many lesbian friends, one of them sitting right there.
Which is the best kind of gay.
That's what we need.
That sort of lesbian inside baseball for the verses we could all have a blast with, but then be pop writers and make sure that chorus can relate to anybody being oh, so you love everybody but me. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Unfamous. Now this is a special episode of Unfamous because normally it's one in front of the camera person or in front of the microphone person, and then one person behind the scenes. But as someone who spent 10 years of my life in a band, since this podcast is about the art of collaboration, I was like, we need a band on the show because being in a band is a marriage. It's creative, it's it is the most intense version of collaboration ever. So, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, I give you the one, the only Muna.
Hey.
Oh, we can be a little louder. It's fucking Muna. How many lesbians are in this room? Muna!
Show
I'm
yourselves.
like, yeah, how many lesbians are in this room?
This is,
Great. All good productions are.
So, instead of like the awkward part of a podcast where the host like lists all the cool things you've done, since this is about collaboration, I use this moment for y'all to introduce each other to everyone listening and watching and brag about each other.
That's so cute.
And what you bring to the collaboration and all the cool things that you do in this instance, in your band.
I love that. Okay, so this right here is Naomi McPherson, who, in my opinion, is the producer of our generation.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Let's
thanks.
go.
Pew pew. But yeah, Naomi is like the main producer of our band, is the person at the computer, pushing the Ableton buttons. And also when we play live, they're kind of like in their little, I think of it as like Wizard of Oz station.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz.
Like I'm like, you're like pulling all the, it's like, I'm just like doing dance moves and like, singing and skipping around, and Naomi is doing like, all
of it.
Yeah, like the intense science and math.
Science and math.
Yeah.
Live calculations.
Yeah. And beyond that, also, Naomi has always been kind of like the visual, I would say, like creative director of the band. Like,
that's something I did not know.
Yeah,
actually.
designs all our merch.
I did not know that at all.
Was a big part of like, even like naming the band had to do with like Naomi's vision about like what would look good and what fonts they wanted to use. Like,
we live in a strict font world.
Yeah,
kind of.
And Naomi was from the jump like really like pushing this thing of like, if we take our music really seriously, so we should take like the artistic presentation of it really seriously as well. And I would say like is also like our style, like even today it was really hard for me not to text you and be like, is it fine that I'm wearing these pants?
I wanted to text everyone and be like, what is everyone wearing?
What is everyone
today?
wearing? Yeah. Naomi's kind of like keeping
I'm glad we didn't do that. I
wouldn't
wouldn't have been able to today.
I kind of figured we all wore jeans, so
that's good enough.
I didn't. Jean jacket.
yeah,
I'll take it.
We all took literally a good job, everyone. Different
Literally
shades of
good
denim.
job,
Everybody did very well
50
today.
Shades of Denim.
I could really go on for a long time. But like when we met Naomi, they were kind of on track to like, I would say probably be an academic.
Yeah,
you were like trying to escape your family history of musicianship.
Definitely.
And I feel like that's
respect.
another part of kind of like what you contribute to the band is like thinking about like contextualizing the project within culture. You like to have big brain ideas like that.
Well, thank you.
I love
That's all
that.
very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Naomi.
Naomi. And Jolena,
That's cool.
Josarty,
It's already starting off really well.
you, there's again, like we're all like big multi-hyphenate situation.
Yep.
I would say like one of the first things that come to mind in terms of like what Joe's role has been in the band is like they are kind of like they've always been like our compass in terms of like taste making and like soundscape.
Totally.
I think that's true. Like Joe has probably the most like alternative, like progressive music background, like played in like prog rock bands in high school and like really had like an experimental like approach to guitar playing that I think affected like the beginning of our band.
Cool.
Like big time. And then like, I don't know, like
Definitely the most
I think
skilled player.
you're usually like the final say of like, this is cool or this is not cool, or like this is good or this is not good in terms of like what we are developing in studio. Also in the last couple of years, Joe has had this cool journey of like going into collaborative songwriting with other people outside of the band.
Yeah.
And I think that what you bring to those people is also like a little bit like reflective of the kind of production you do in Muna, where it's like you can see potential in ideas and you can see like potential in people and like know how to kind of like bring that out, bring like the most interesting thing out.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's been really interesting like the last couple of years from Joe's like experience songwriting in other rooms. I do think you've like taken to like the world of pop songwriting in a really interesting way. Like it's like you're the most progressive, but then also like you're the most like
Into pop.
you have pop sensibility and you also like, yeah, you want to push like you want something to be a banger. So I think that
You
that's
also just
been-
like collaborating.
Yeah, I like. I would say I probably like collaborating the
Totally.
most out of the three of us.
I think you push
really?
us to
Definitely.
to make
Yeah.
stuff in the
that's
room
where
together.
that's
the
where I
most.
do the best.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really great in a.
you do better. You do better and better.
I can do it, but I have music
Trauma.
training trauma.
Yeah.
Like
As do
from
many of us.
Yeah.
anyone who like grew up playing classical music, it's like it's not fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
Music should
it's
not be fun.
It's not
Yeah,
for
exactly.
fun.
Yeah.
Fun is
Exactly.
not the
goal.
goal. And
Yeah.
like expressing yourself isn't exactly the goal either.
Fair.
It's like being the best musician that you can be.
It's
and
technique,
showing up
technical.
and performing and
Yeah.
getting,
Yeah.
and like placing in a sonatina competition.
I would say Katie is one of the most like natural songwriters I've ever encountered, where she has a song. Like I think what makes a songwriter who should be an artist is who Katie is. She has a song on her heart that she needs to express, and it's out of control. Like I think if you didn't write songs, I actually don't know what would be going on.
Mass murder.
Yeah, mass murder, institutionalization.
Those are the two choices.
No, just like crazy volunteering.
Yeah,
like-
crazy volunteering.
Yeah,
Maybe
some of
books.
that's already co-occurring.
Yeah, maybe some books. But you're the most natural songwriter who has like a purpose in your songwriting to express yourself. And it's very singular because that's a skill that's, I think, actually not lacking, but I think people struggle to feel comfortable that they need to say the truth and like actually have something to say.
So, what I loved about that is that even though I know all of you and have written with you, I learned new things about what you bring to the process, which I hope means that definitely fans will have learned something new in that. What was it when you started as someone who had like a singer-songwriter thing and then a band thing and then now my life as a songwriter for other people? When my band started and we were figuring out what it was, there was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, like this is it. There was a guitar riff and I wrote a lyric off the top of my head, which was just, I can't pay my rent, but I'm fucking gorgeous.
Iconic.
So iconic.
And there was like this very sort of like AC/DC-esque guitar riff mixed with this very like high femme faggoty lyric. And I was like,
What
this
city
is
were
the
you in
band.
at the time?
Brooklyn.
Okay, I was gonna
Totally.
say that's
Totally.
like New York. That's like
2006, New York.
Totally.
Yeah.
To a T. Do you guys remember a moment when you were like, maybe we're starting a band? Is this really happening? Was there an, like to quote Queen Oprah, was there an aha moment?
I think like it probably just kind of materialized over time. I mean, we were all friends before, and Katie and I were dating, and
Fabulous.
Powerful.
and then Katie kind of joined in and was doing
Katie happened to show up.
and was like doing cool stuff on the computer
Yeah.
before I was like kind of experimenting with like making
You had Fruity Loops.
yeah, I was like doing some, but not in a really crystallized like good way at that point in time. But you because of like experiences you had when you were in high school had like delved into electronic music production, and you were like very experimental in doing it. And so we kind of did this like weird hybrid session, proto session thing. And Katie took home whatever we had made, which was like some guitar stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
And then wrote over it. But we also
song. Was
Feel
it Feel
Better.
Better?
Yeah.
we also all had like we all have different backgrounds but we have really important like core shared artists that we love that all three of us love.
Yeah.
And I think that is like we have like a three-way Venn diagram.
We had a three-way.
Yeah, we had a three-way.
That's when that was like,
That
now we're a
was
band.
when we knew.
I
Of
will.
taste,
I will
of
say,
taste.
like after we made that song, and this is the way that they've always been. Like you guys are like the most motivated people I have ever encountered. So as soon as we did that, it was like, okay, we're a band and we work 7 days a week. And by the way,
This is our job now.
Yeah, this is our job now, and you have no other way to exist. That's definitely been.
We locked
See,
in.
I love that there's two of you in that mindset. In my band,
I'm a little bit.
it
It was
was
biased.
just you.
me.
That's hard.
And I called the three people that ended up being in the band and was like, hey, we're in a band now. It's called Semi Precious Weapons. I'll see you Tuesday night. And
Well, that's great.
Were
but
they
it wasn't like
receptive?
they were receptive. I mean, it's like I just feel like so many straight men are actually subs just waiting for a dom
Oh
to
my
show
God,
up and
yes.
just
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's our whole crew.
Totally.
Shout out.
Yeah, everyone
You know
everyone
you
who
are.
works for
Shout out
us,
the crew.
sub straight man.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, totally.
But I always wish there was one other person who had the same insane drive.
We're all, even though I'm not as motivated, I would say, as you guys. We've always
You're
been.
on
You
it.
are. You're
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
on it. I don't like.
But we're Capricorn.
Yeah.
I think
we're,
we
we're not weak
derive
within
like
each other.
sick, like
they
disgusting
derive
pleasure,
more
out
pleasure
of
from
it.
working, like as I like to sit outside.
I just
You know what I
love
mean?
working more than
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no
most
chill.
things.
Yeah,
anyway.
my whole
Yeah.
life is a to-do list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already so busy. I was like, I think I need a podcast.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is there something that you guys learned early on about collaborating with each other that still applies today? Is there like a rhythm that you find? And I don't mean like an actual groove. I mean like is there something that like you discovered early that still happens in almost every session?
I think it's like an intuition thing. I think like, when it happens both ways, like knowing that something is good. I think sometimes will all hit us at the same time.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, we can't put this down. Like,
Yep.
this is good. We need to keep going. And then sometimes when we've gone the distance with something, we'll all also know, like, to varying degrees, like, this isn't it.
Right.
Like, we really tried, but
I mean,
it's
that's a
not
great
it.
gift that you, for the most part, come to both of those decisions together.
Yeah.
Well, but also learning each other's timing. Like I
Yeah.
would say that these two have like way more patience than I do when it comes to like working on songs. I want I'll like get an idea in my head and try to like force them to like enact it, like, and maybe they already know like that's not the right thing and we need to wait for something else, and it takes me a little bit longer to like come around to, because anytime it's like I still feel like a grief anytime like something isn't gonna work. And maybe it's because a lot of those like kernels are like coming from me. Like it's like there was a period when we were making the record where it was like we had we'll decide if we want to keep this in, but it's like we had like a talk and like a cry. I don't know if we all cried or if it was just me crying, but
I'm not really 100% sure what you're even talking about.
I'm talking about like there was a period of time where it was like we wrote so many songs for this upcoming album, and there was a period where it was like a lot of them were not gonna work. Like a lot of them were like not like coming to fruition and feeling like real songs that were really like true and exciting to us, and so like and it was often like them
that's
that like
fair.
knew it and were ready to accept it before I knew it.
We both have really strong knee-jerk reactions, I think.
Yeah. And like it felt
You guys are
to
more
me,
willing to like take something the distance than I am.
But you know, I feel like
yeah, that's true.
I think that's part.
true.
I think that's part of the relationship, though.
Yeah.
Being in a collaboration you've agreed to be in.
Yeah, and in terms of like maybe if I don't feel this in my heart, like we should go further with it if someone else does.
Yeah.
If someone else does. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm like having a really amazing realization about collaboration, which is something I do every single day, from what you said of you have a harder time of letting it go because quite possibly the start of the idea started with you. And I can think of 75 sessions right now where I'm like, why is this person like not letting this idea go? Who fucking cares? We'll just write another song. It never occurred to me that there's like possibly a sense of failure of like my idea
Wasn't good enough.
Or we just didn't nail it today. I'm always just like, who fucking cares? But you just taught me something of like, oh, that they really wanted that fucking main lyric to go, but everything else around it just isn't clicking. And now we have to accept that lyric it wasn't going to be the lyric today.
As artists or as
Both,
songwriters?
as both artists and songwriters. I think most of the time, most of the things I'm remembering right now
Our artists.
are
Songwriters who
who write like artists.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Songwriters who it's about their relationship.
Yeah.
Even though we're probably going to send the song to somebody else, this song is about their life. So they're writing like an artist.
Totally.
And I'm always just like, let's just do another fucking song.
Yeah, right. Totally.
But wow, I need to be a lot nicer about that.
Well, it's
we were all
because
thinking it.
like a really, I think what it was a breakthrough for us, and maybe it wouldn't work in sessions like that where you're not best friends with the people, is like I realized that what I actually needed to like move on from those things was to hear from Naomi and Joe that they think I'm doing a good job writing this album.
You really need like
I need
positive reinforcement.
Which is totally fair.
Because it's like on some level my body is receiving like all the no's, like you're a shitty songwriter.
Right.
Yeah, you need to feel I
it's like really
Celebrate it.
simple.
yeah.
Like you're good at this.
Yeah.
Like really baby stuff. And I think like just going back to the original question, like the thing that kind of like hasn't changed in our collaboration, I think if this did change, like the band would be like done.
Yeah.
Is like we have to be willing to be super vulnerable with each other and have hard conversations, tell each other things that we know like we don't want to hear, and also ask for things that you're scared to ask for.
And also everyone's getting pushed.
Everyone's getting pushed.
Yeah.
Like
that's
we're all getting like, there will be a song where it's just like something that someone has spent hours working on, a lyric, a part, something in the production is just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work.
And you just, I don't know, we run a kind of like tight,
ruthless ship.
ruthless ship a little bit in the pursuit of like what we imagine the like higher, like the best, in the best interest of the project, like to make something that we can all like stand behind, because once it's out, it's permanent. And so we want to know we put our
everything.
Like, we put our best foot forward in every way that we could, and if it wasn't good enough, like it wasn't good enough.
A lot of people who do what I do, like writing behind the scenes, it's very rare that we get to write with bands. And because I was in one, I really understand the dynamics so well that a lot of people do what I do are like, that shit's, they just,
it's like
they
group
talk to
therapy.
each other like they're siblings. And it's just like, we're like, if I'm going to shoot down an idea, it's like handled with kid gloves because I might barely know the person. I might have just met them that day. And friends of mine who write and produce who aren't used to writing with bands, they're like, that shit is stressful. But you guys have your own secret language that it's like, when you pointed out how like you need like, hey, you're good at this, like baby stuff.
Yeah.
Were you guys doing that naturally, or was that like something you had to realize, you had to talk through that shit?
It was painstaking, and I think
I'm not really good at doing that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, speak on that.
For you. I think I'm hard on people.
Well, I'm hard on you too.
I don't know.
There's also this
You guys
layer
have
of like,
you guys have more.
we're
of a
so
sibling
weird
thing.
to each other, maybe because we're also exes.
Right.
Well, you guys have a different. I mean, we're all siblings, but you guys are more like.
Yeah. I think it's not that I think I'm like, I think I'm hard on you in a way that like that could benefit from being more caring.
I don't have that experience.
Because I think sometimes I'm like, I will just be a little, not like unkind or something, but like maybe
sharp,
decisive.
I think you guys are like that to each other.
Like
the one thing that I feel, is like, it's not actually with, it's like this thing we were talking about earlier of like, I'm an artist and like I have freaky ideas. It's like, sometimes I feel like they get laughed at, like
totally.
And sometimes I'm in the mood.
They do.
Sometimes I'm in the mood to laugh with them because
Totally.
I'm like, I'm so kooky. But it's like, but sometimes I'm like, I really like want to be taken seriously, and I know this idea is freaky, but it could be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like we will go down that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think if I express, I think like,
definitely.
but it's taken me. You know, we've been doing this for such a long time now.
How long has it been now?
A long time.
How long? I think
since 2013.
Yeah.
So
13 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
unfortunate.
crazy?
No, that's fucking.
It's really good.
I mean, it's
awesome.
good. But
Yeah.
I think about 13 years.
But what's beautiful is that
long
you're
time.
still fucking in it,
Yeah.
and that it is as even though I know you and I've written with you, I'm still like very much an outsider. As an outsider, every album you guys just get bigger. Every tour it gets bigger. So the fact that you've lasted 13 years and that
we're,
it's
like,
still
building.
just growing is fucking awesome. Is there like a reoccurring argument you have while collaborating? Not person. I mean, if you want to talk person, please do. But this is about collaboration. Is there a reoccurring argument you have or friction point you hit? And if there is, have you figured out how to get better at getting past it quicker?
I mean, if anything, we can decide to keep this in or decide to not. I feel like you, Katie, can feel like the two of us agree and have an alliance against you.
It's the Mask Alliance.
Well,
That's fair.
Have I think a more. It's not like we don't all have the same like taste, but I think at a lot of the times, like our tastes can align faster. If that makes any sense.
Or like that's kind of what I'm getting at. I think when I'm saying like I can be hard on you. I think sometimes
feel that way?
I think sometimes it's like
When you say it, I'm like, I can think of experiences where
I feel like you bring that to me.
Collaboration is always hard. Long-term collaboration is even harder.
I think it's way harder.
And so
Yeah.
like
totally.
you guys being willing to talk about things that are consistently hard that you have to work past. Because the reason I'm doing this is not to just like put content out. I do think that collaboration is the most beautiful thing ever, but it's also hard as fuck. So like, this is very interesting to me. That like,
me too.
It feels like, so you feel like one of the main points of friction is that it's like the two of you agree on things quicker, and then it's like 2 against 1.
It's also because Naomi and I will work alone the most together too. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's also just like no matter what, because there are 3 of us.
Yep.
Like,
There's
we
always
can-
like shifting dynamics.
Yeah, they're you know what I mean? Like it's bound to happen, even if it's like real or not real, that someone can feel like left out of the group.
Yep.
I think that there's two things that come up. The first one is that which is kind of this feeling of like, yeah, like my idea, like I can have a fear of like my ideas won't be listened to, or yeah, like this like 2 against 1 thing. But also that goes back to this thing of like oftentimes like it's because they're moving at a like they know that something. It's like
isn't
a lot of times, like they are right. Don't show me this clip if we're arguing about something in the future.
Alternatively, sometimes your ideas that I might initially, or that we might initially poo-poo, are like prescient and like,
you know what's funny?
Actually
is that
cool.
I actually think
we should
that
each answer
sometimes
this
what I
question,
have
honestly.
to do is like mock up, and I have to mock something up.
You feel like
to make it really easy for it to get like integrated. So it's like I don't.
When you say mock up a demo,
I'm doing it
like a literal like making a demo.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think like the song. I think there are like different types of songs in terms of like ones where we got to figure out what the song actually is, and that's the song that's the most contentious because it can go through many iterations that almost cause deast to the song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sometimes you can really kill a song.
I thought you were making a joke, but like
between us,
someone in the band dies.
Both.
Yeah.
No.
Or a song that just we know exactly what it is, and like that is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a rare thing. I think it's the other songs
Yeah.
that then you'll be like, I need to spoon feed you this for us to like get, you know what I mean?
To understand.
To
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm thinking of is, and we touched on it earlier, is like kind of like our different desires for like how we collaborate. Like Joe really does want to, like Joe would prefer, I feel like you'd prefer we'd be in the room together for a lot of the creative process.
Totally.
And Naomi and I both are like more isolationist. Like it's like I need to go on a walk to the river to have a song, and then I'll come back. It's like hard for me to hear myself think when I'm in a room with other people. And I think it's similar with you, like with like, again, like musical trauma. And I think this is true with a lot of
And just
musicians.
being like an only child.
Totally.
You don't want to like mess up in front of other people.
An only child in a band. The drummer we worked together on stuff to this day all the time, only child. And it was in the early days of the band, it was just like he would have something that I always read as extreme negativity. But I'm the youngest of 4 siblings.
Totally.
And so
How would it show up?
just like he would not be nearly as excited about something that I was very excited about.
Right. Okay.
And he just like wasn't used to sharing, like just in the simplest things of like, we're on tour for years and like all of a sudden he's brushing his teeth with a pink toothbrush, which is clearly mine. And I'm like, how is this? That's a very extreme, funny version.
Yeah.
But like as an only child, it just like
I would say
wasn't.
that would be a hard line for us.
The toothbrush was a hard line for me.
I think that would happen.
Thinking about what you're
I think that would happen. That I don't think I would be the one using someone else's.
No, it would be
toothbrush
Katie.
under any circumstance.
It would totally be Katie. No offense.
But I think I do need to like. I sometimes, I have the same thing of like I can't think.
Yeah.
Because also we move so fast and we're all talking and having ideas at the same time.
Yeah.
That like, and when you're
And you're in control of those ideas and when they happen.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I have an idea, but there just literally aren't enough hours in the day in a session when you're making an album for 3 years to like do it then and there to make it the most like presentable.
Right.
Yeah. You feel like you can do it the best if you have some time alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I can like not waste it. It really just feels like you're wasting everyone's time sometimes.
And
like,
then people are watching you just figure something out alone.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Like that's why like I would never ever like try to touch a computer in a session because it's just like I can't imagine. I have trouble sending an email.
Yeah.
Like it
Totally.
Is there a moment you can think of that if you didn't have this deep collaboration from writing together, from making music together, is there a business moment that you felt like there's no way you would have survived if you didn't have the language of collaboration?
All of it.
I mean, I think this thing that maybe this is answering the question or maybe it's not. Muna is something that isn't us individually.
Right.
So there's always been this core belief in this thing that is outside of us, that when we've been in a place of absolute dire straits, like financially or in terms of like our interpersonal dynamic.
Yep.
Belief in the idea of this thing has always been like the North Star of all of our decisions. And so I think that has always helped us, like in any decision that we've made, like as a band, like it's, I don't know, maybe that is collaboration.
Yeah, I think that's
I don't
fair.
know.
I think there are like, it goes back to I don't know, there's like an ineffable sort of like aspect to the project where it is just, there are like invisible constraints around the project.
Yep.
And like, it's helpful in a way because we all know like what we need to be bringing to the project to meet the moment that the project is in or whatever, like almost that there's something there.
Yeah.
I think for all of us, like it being a band like helps filter the like anxiety that the attention can cause.
Yeah.
And gives it more of a purpose. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like any of our individual like names. So it's like, this is like the me show or something like.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, I think we've learned so much about like, compromise and also like trust. I think the thing that hasn't really changed is like that we trust each other's like insight and intuition and taste.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's like, it's funny you asking this question. It's like, the other thing about us is that we are really involved in each other's lives. Like we just are friends who hang out and like navigate life together.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel really sad for, it's so crazy to me that most people aren't in bands.
Hello, everyone's favorite part of every podcast where we say, please follow and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen so you don't miss future conversations. And also, pretty please take a cute little second to rate the show. It's one of the biggest ways you can support us. See you next Wednesday. And what's also very interesting for me of the other conversations I've had already on doing this podcast is normally it's everyone like collaborates to make the thing and then one person has to go around the whole world to sell it.
Totally.
And you guys get to go sell it together.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's better or worse?
It's better.
Better. So
It's
much
better.
Sorry.
So the fact that your answer is it's better to do it together means that no matter what drama you maybe have gone through, personal or creatively, that you actually like each other. And to get people to, no matter what bullshit's going through the day, that they can remember that they like each other. So like, let's keep doing this together is not normal.
Maybe it's like, I don't know if it's even like, but it's like deep
But how
respect.
cool for you.
Deep respect for.
I don't know if I like them.
but I think it's like
Deeply.
I respect them. I
It's like
respect them
care.
enough. But no, but I mean,
care.
it's. I think
Yeah.
it's like because sometimes I don't like them because they're my siblings.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
I love them and I have
Right.
reverence for what we've created together and like who they are as people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's like it's just like this weird. I mean, like it's just thick.
It's
You know what I
really
mean?
thick.
It's just yeah.
But I do think there is something about like
We don't
us-
hate each other.
us
definitely.
being able to we have toured in every imaginable circumstance.
totally.
Like
Some
we
you
had
could
a
not even
van where
imagine.
we had to tape black trash bags over all the windows so that people didn't steal our stuff. And we have all shared one hotel room. So it's like two people we're sharing a bed tonight, we're sharing a bed tomorrow. Like, and we did that for a very, very long time.
Way
and
too
I think
recently.
way too
too
recently.
recently.
But it did like, it really bonded us through these like experiences that just like no one else understands what it was like to like really believe in something that much to the extent that you're willing to like, you know, kind of pay for it with your like body and mind. I mean, it's just true. We wouldn't do it if that wasn't the case. But also we're really lucky in the sense that we've also built a like extended sort of family around the band. With people that we met through like very dear friends who have become, you know, inextricable parts of our like touring, you know, situation.
Definitely.
And we really value like loyalty and to each other and like to the people that we involve in our project. Like we want people to feel like our win is theirs too, because hopefully it is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there is like, you know, there's a belief in our like larger sort of
a big common goal.
touring apparatus as well.
Well said.
Yeah. No, I think it is the only way to survive the tough moments of any collaboration is everyone keeping their eye on the common goal. And like, if you aren't, you're going to quit when things get tough.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier on that like there was like artists that all of you loved that overlapped. And I always ask a question of what ruined your life, in the sense of like, for me, like when I heard Debbie Gibson on the radio talking about how she wrote her own songs. Now, you're all younger than me, so I don't even know if you know who Debbie Gibson is, but
I don't, but
Debbie Gibson was a
I might know the
huge like
band.
teen pop star in the 80s.
Oh, cool. What songs?
Electric Youth, Out of the Blue, In Your Eyes. I can go on. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
She has a Vegas show. You can go see it.
Wow.
And she was 16 years old and writing and producing everything.
That's so cool.
And it went, I remember being like 5 or 6 in like, you know, a shitty fucking minivan and my mom driving and going, oh shit, I think I'm ruined now. The fact that like someone is writing this, that has to be me now.
Oh, totally. Sealed your fate.
All 3 of you remember what ruined your life and was like, oh fuck, I'm a musician for life. This is terrible.
That is so funny. What a funny question. Oh God.
It doesn't have to be as specific as Debbie Gibson in a minivan. It can be like,
I like that though.
And like giving a radio interview.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were a few moments for me that come up. Like my most like mirrored experience with that one specifically is hilariously hearing the song Tim McGraw by Taylor Swift on my
great fucking
boombox radio.
Yep.
And finding out that she was like a teenager and writing her own songs.
Yep.
Because I was at that point, I mean, I started writing songs at like 10.
Yep.
When I got like could play a couple chords on guitar. But
That's
that was
young.
the point when I was like, yeah, it was. And I think I was really supported by my mom specifically was like really supportive of me like developing that as a songwriter. And like I played, you know, shows when I was, I think, starting like as a sophomore in high school. I don't remember what year that song came out, but I feel like there was a switch in terms of like
Probably 06, I think.
yeah,
You
so I would
would've
have been like
been-
8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like culturally, this is also, I think I was ruined by the dopamine feedback as well of
Totally.
of like I played an open mic night and I played like an original song when I was like a freshman in high school, and my close friend Ryan posted it on Facebook, and the like feedback I remember like, you know, incessantly
Cool.
like checking like I think I was chemically ruined.
I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of love.
yeah. I think that as well.
Give me your
God.
Facebook thumbs up
Yeah.
now.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. And then-
Anybody else have a memory that's worth?
It's hard because music has always been kind of like a part of like a sort of a given in my life. Like I come from a family of musicians. I was trained starting at a very young age. It almost felt like I'm very grateful because it like formed me into the person that I am, but it did feel compulsory a little bit.
Yep.
And I was good enough at it where I got some, you know, like I was encouraged.
Yeah.
So
What was your first instrument?
piano?
Piano. Cool.
Yeah, I started playing piano when I was 5, or maybe a little earlier. That's a mom question. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I because of like the jazz and classical background in my family, I didn't want to be a professional musician, even though I loved music and I loved singing
Mm-hmm.
and I loved playing piano, but I didn't like I didn't get pleasure from doing it like in front of other people or like performing in any way. It became a kind of like private experience that I would have when I wasn't practicing.
Yep.
Scales or whatever. But I started listening to music of my own volition when I was like 9 or 10, you know? And there were a couple things that I heard that I was like transported by.
That definitely fits this question. Yeah.
And I'm coming back to it now, and I was texting Joe about it because I remember just listening to it. I had a tape player and I was listening to the tape for Love Deluxe, the Sade album.
Too good.
And that
for someone to be that attractive and that talented I don't think that's natural. I don't think it's right. I think it's against God. It's not.
It's against God for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm that like the image of like, what are the meme of like your spirit like exploding out of your body listening to that. I was so moved.
Imagining you with your little
I just loved, and I went back to it and I was like still smacks.
It really
it's like top to bottom insane.
Okay, this is super like music geek follow-up question. What do you think if you had to like pick really quick rapid fire, like what is it about it? Is it the chord? Is it the vocal? Is it
I think it is. I think I'm pushed out of this like instinct that I have, but I think because of growing up around a lot of really complicated music, I love when a very simple loop can have like several different sections over it without the chords changing or the drum pattern
and keep the ear engaged.
Yeah, really engaged. And like I'm really addicted to like that hypnotic effect that like, a very kind of not simple. I mean, the Sade album, there's like really amazing bass parts and the drums are incredible. And her voice obviously is like, she has such an amazing like alto, not like Sarah Vaughan, but like that kind of rich tone I really do like. And I think I like peculiar singing voices. I'm attracted to them. I think we all are. But yeah, I think it was like the hypnotic effect of it was really did something to me and kind of still does.
I love you coming from like a very like academic musical background that like the brilliance in her simplicity is what sort of turned you on.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And it also shows like anyone who's like a pretentious dick about pop music, it's like, then you just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it takes a lot to be really effective over
to be simple and effective.
Really simple. And I think that also like can be some of the beautiful stuff about like, I don't know, they're like Bill Evans and Chopin pieces that do the same thing.
Yep.
And they're my favorites. The simplest ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was part of
that.
it. But also I heard Edge of 17 and that kind of just blew my mind too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't understand they let women be rock stars. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I started getting into like rock music after I heard that. And I was thinking like 10 or something.
I mean, those are both pretty impressive places to start. Stevie Nicks and Sade.
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm stuck.
Naomi grew up with a very good music encyclopedia in terms of what they were raised on.
Do
Yeah.
you remember yours?
Shout out to my family.
I mean, like, in a way, it's really funny because I think I've fallen in and out of love with like music as I've aged.
Yep.
But like from the time I existed, I just knew it was what I was gonna do for whatever reason. My dad used to show me like movies like The Last Waltz, and we'd listen to like Neil Young and stuff like that, and go to like see Heart. But I just
so special.
I just knew I was just gonna do it for some odd reason.
Yeah.
And I think about like all of us, and I think about like even the band, and it's funny. It's like, and I think this is like a gift of the young, where it's like you just knew you were gonna do something, and I feel like we just have always known that we were gonna do this and do this together.
Yep.
I think that's like what makes someone successful, is just having that like blind belief. And I don't know if I'd have that like now in my life, but it's the same feeling I had when I was like 8 to the feeling I had when we were, I don't know, 20. I guess,
totally.
Yeah.
Deciding to do it.
Is there something that you wish you could like tell the band, you and starting the band 13 years ago, that you could say now about the art of collaboration? Is there something you'd be like, hey, guys, let's skip this step by just like learning this cheat code of how to like talk or write or?
Oh, about collaboration.
About collaboration.
Probably being kinder to each other, but you have to be mean to learn how to be kind, probably. Like, you know what I mean,
That's
to
a
other
bar.
people.
Yeah.
That's a bar. That's, yeah.
And also, we
Like,
kind
what
of
can
had
you
to
fucking
experience everything that we
Totally.
did. I would
Totally.
say, like, the advice that I would give would really
What,
have
style?
nothing to do with the three of us.
Like,
Really, it would. I mean, it would be like, be yourself
Totally.
sooner,
totally, totally. But you have to not be yourself, I think.
and like, don't listen
you
to
know?
people when they tell you
Totally.
objectively crazy things
Totally.
about yourself that aren't true.
Yeah, we were subjected to some bad stuff at certain points.
Definitely.
but So is everyone
Which also bonded
who's
us.
queer.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Like just like styling.
Yeah, I mean,
That, but also just people not getting
understanding
it,
who
not
we
getting
are.
it.
When you say styling, do you wish you would have given yourself advice on better styling, or that people were saying horrible things to you about styling?
I mean, for me, I would have maybe said like, actually, no.
I have no notes.
I was gonna say,
It's for
like,
me.
You don't need
yeah,
to
it's
have
not.
it.
It's for us.
But-
It's not for
yeah.
you. That haircut's iconic.
The haircut is iconic.
The T-Boz is fire.
Yeah.
I would have told myself that what I've learned through all these years of collaboration is don't get that haircut.
You don't actually need the haircut.
I think the
I think
haircut's
she
sick.
needed it.
Yeah, I think actually she did need it.
You did need it.
It
was
is
armor.
iconic. It is.
was
and
really
I actually
armor
know
for me.
exactly what you're talking about, and it's iconic.
It's so iconic.
Okay, so rapid fire fun part
Cute.
is gag or drag. So gag means you love it. Gag.
Totally.
Drag means hate it.
Interesting.
And we've also learned that some people need the meh option, that you just don't actually care. Okay.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it's probably gonna be a lot of meh.
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll see.
Being labeled a queer band in every article before anything is spoken about your
This
music.
is a leading question.
This is
Drag
bullshit.
slash
Drag. Like whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
It is like
You know.
It changes for me because even as a songwriter, I still get
yeah.
Totally.
Queer.
like I would say 80% of the headlines. The headline has to do with how fucking gay I am, and some days I'm like,
can't
that's
escape.
fucking right. That's right. I'm sucking dicks on the reg.
Right.
And the other half of the time I'm like, but
I'm just the best.
You're not talking about that way with Max Martin. It's
No,
so weird.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It does seem like creepy a little bit sometimes.
They're just so
Something
interested in what we're
like-
doing.
Yeah, and yet I think it can unfortunately like be used as a tool to undermine your artistry.
100.
Yeah.
And I
100.
think that is a huge drag.
Huge drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, you know, if people need to read that to be interested in us,
Yeah.
and then they're coming
A super
the
fan.
concert's
Yeah.
crying, then that's
Yeah.
And
great.
representation is
Yeah.
ultimately more important than
not.
Yeah,
Yes.
than us being pissed about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how when I like calm myself down. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how cool that someone can read about this. Yeah.
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 Fans thinking that they're entitled, and this is not leading at all. The first one was
You're
leading, you're right?
trapping us.
No, I swear. This is what I'm actually curious about. Fans thinking that they're entitled to information about your personal lives.
You know what? Our fans are really respectful. Like, I don't know why. I feel like
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah,
they
I'm
really
gagged by.
You gagged.
I think
I'm
it's
gagged
'cause
by our specific fans.
No, I think it's because
Love it.
they're like
Yeah,
little
yeah,
queer kids who
Yeah.
like
Respect boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
also,
that's
like,
something.
It is funny because it's like low key. Like I'm sharing a lot of information.
Just read the
I'm like-
lyrics. Yeah.
I'm like they have it, you know. So like
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. They feel entitled.
Lesbians insisting on living on the east side.
Gag.
Gag.
Where else
Gag.
would I go?
Yeah.
We're safe over there.
I'm trying to move
Anywhere
further east.
east of
Yeah.
Western is
Yeah.
where we're
I
safe.
need
That's-
like
yeah.
a mountain close to me. You know what I mean? I think it keeps you gay.
No, I feel you. I thought this was my dream neighborhood, and I'm like, I need to get on the other side of Western. This just
No,
feels
it's
fucking
gonna
You
weird.
gotta
be
get on the other.
unbelievable.
If you're really got to get on the other side of the LA River. It's the
LA
truth.
River, yeah.
But
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't know.
That's
if I can
really
do that.
that's really far.
but that's deep
Dude, I
lesbian
could go. I could go
territory.
even deeper.
Setting boundaries and being called difficult.
Is gag.
Gag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, I think, but I also read something really interesting this morning that was about like, it was like Angelino's like 2026 prediction, like different cultural creators. And somebody was like, I feel like therapy speak is going to be like out in this next little bit. Like, it's like, I do actually feel a cultural fatigue of hearing about boundaries. Like
Boundaries,
I'm like, that
holding
doesn't mean
space.
that boundaries themselves are
I don't think
not
people know what
gag.
boundaries are.
Right.
Sometimes
I
a
definitely don't.
boundary.
Speak on that.
Yeah, true.
I think boundaries are actually. I mean, like, boundaries are more of an internal thing than an external thing. And I think,
I heard a huge bar from my friend Christine last night about boundaries. Do you want to hear it?
please.
Okay, if this is somebody else's quote, but I don't know whose quote, and sorry to that person.
I was about to say something.
Sorry to this man.
So please
Sorry to
continue.
this man. Sorry to this boundaries man. Boundaries is the distance from which I can love you and myself at the same time.
Totally. That's great.
You like that?
Yeah, it's bar.
Yeah, it's a bar.
That's
Yeah.
a bar.
Yeah, I love it. I skipped it because we talked about so many other things, but this came up in the rapid fire section, so it's not rapid fire anymore. But I'm very curious. What is something, talking about boundaries and therapy speak, what is something that you have learned to say no to as collaborators?
Wait, what do you mean?
If anything,
Like, I have learned to be like, I don't have to do everything. I don't have to.
To
So
take every session?
every session, I don't have to finish this fucking song that I don't think is good. Like, is there something that you feel like you can say no to now that you couldn't before?
I feel like I said no to too much.
You're really good at saying no, almost too good.
Yeah, I think I really held myself back, and I'm in a more of a yes zone.
Okay, I love that.
That's so interesting.
I love that.
I think we have we have
We
like
can be
good,
martyrs,
sometimes
too.
we have good yeah. I've been told no more Muna martyr.
I like being
By-
a martyr.
We will always be. We'll always do good things.
Well, of course. I think we sometimes can maybe spread ourselves a little thin. And like, you know what I really don't want to have to do anymore?
it's
Ooh,
not
I'm
gonna. Well,
excited.
it's not gonna happen.
I'm excited.
I really don't like doing things that are going to move the needle.
I don't. If I get,
Oh
if
my
anyone ever
God.
says that to me again,
Gag or drag, moving the needle.
It's
The most,
complete
like,
Drag, you
It's
hate it.
Drag.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
us playing an acoustic set for people who hate us.
Guess what? No one knows what's gonna move the needle.
And it's like we're in Vegas on a rooftop playing for people who are in a pool while a DJ is playing.
we've
and
done
it's gonna
some of the
move
most
Which is
needle.
not
degrading things you
imagination
could
when they're
ever
saying that. That's
imagine.
something
That's just
we've
the
done.
truth. That's like
Wow.
the true thing that's happened.
Wait, but okay, this is what this is making me realize is that my no is actually like a no. I've learned to not explain myself every time that I say no to something.
powerful.
Like
That's
if
good.
we're like if we don't
Ooh.
want to like do a like collaboration with a certain brand or something like that, it's like we don't have I don't have to like
Write a
fight with somebody
dissertation
about
is-
it.
yeah.
It's enough
Totally,
for me to
totally.
just say like I don't need to do that and I don't need to spend any more energy on why I'm not going to do that.
I'm kind of getting
That's
there now
good.
too. Of,
That was good.
no brands want to collaborate with me, but not in that sense, but in the sense of like,
No, that's not true. That can't be true.
no, never, no.
I hate this.
well, this is what the podcast's for, guys. Reach out.
Yeah.
But no, I've gotten to the place of like, no, I just don't want to do that session.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah,
not going to
you just
explain
don't
to
have to.
whoever, it's a publisher, a
Totally.
manager, whoever. I'm just, no, don't want to do it. and
That's
that,
so good.
that is okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to learn that.
Yeah.
Okay, gag or drag reading comments. Because I know some artists actually love to
my
read the
God.
comments.
Drag.
I think in this phase, drag previously maybe gag. But I think like when you
Why
were-
was it a gag previously?
because I think when you're
Some
in,
of our fans are really funny.
I think when you're in maybe you're less exposed to
Random haters.
people who might dislike you for reasons that are out of your control.
Yep.
I think when when you're a small band, some of the comments are just a gag, and some people are really funny.
Yeah,
and
some people are funny.
and they make funny memes and like do funny stuff, and I like all that stuff. And I'm honestly I think this is gonna be something that's just like another trend, but I'm happy to be like jumping on it. I don't want to be as online as I've been in the past. I think I've been
Same.
hyper online,
Yep.
like very online, chronically so.
yeah, chronically so.
And I don't
Some
want,
could say.
I
Yep.
just want to be a person and like and protect like, you know, my divine essence.
Well, and, but
Well.
also you used to be able to sort of protect what you were seeing online, and with
Now you
TikTok,
can't.
they're going to show you something that you really don't want to see.
You'll see the
Sometimes
worst thing of yourself of all
about
time.
yourself.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
want to know what's going on anymore.
I don't want to see that photo.
I don't want to
You
see
know
that
what I
photo.
mean? I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see. Yeah.
I just don't think
Yeah.
you
All of
need to
it.
think about yourself as much as we're forced to.
Yeah.
Some photos and angles of yourself you shouldn't
No,
see.
legally speaking, I don't want to see that.
I think
Legally
yeah.
speaking, don't show me that angle.
Yeah.
Okay, last gag or drag. And this is really because I just need to vent with it with people who understand. Gag or drag, being asked about politics in almost every interview when you're supposed to just be talking about like the structure of a chorus.
Listen, go to our highlights. You'll learn everything you need to know about our politics based on the shirts we've worn, the things we've said, the things we say in our songs.
I'm assuming this is that you're in a drag moment with this, and I have
It's a
to
big
hear
drag for me.
I have to hear more about this.
It's just I know for a fact that no other hit makers. Of
course.
Right? It's weird to say that about myself, but that's what we're called.
Facts are facts, baby.
Facts are facts, America. No other hit makers are being asked to comment on any recent legislation.
No.
It is not a thing that any other.
But you better be up on the reading.
Yeah, of course.
You better have done the homework.
And it's like
It's your gay duty.
It's really insane for me. And I'm like, if this interview is about that, and I feel like it's a platform that I could maybe help somebody learn something or sure. But if we're supposed to be doing like a retrospective of my career and half the interview is about like, am I afraid to use they, them pronouns in Trump's America? I'm just like, wait.
Right.
What-
It like affects the nervous system.
I
in a
was
different
talking
way.
about melodic math 12 seconds ago.
Yeah.
That definitely
Oh, and
does
I need you
happen
to speak more
us.
on that, actually.
Yeah.
Melodic math.
Melodic math.
Melodic math. Like,
I don't know if I know.
Like if the verse starts before the one.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You've taught us a
Yeah.
few tricks.
Yeah,
in this
I
realm.
talk.
I
Yeah,
love-
we-
I love
I
that.
love-
That's good
I
stuff.
didn't know
But it's-
melodic
it's
math is good,
complicated.
though.
I'd be interested in hearing like, you know, we've had internal conversations about like, I feel like your opinion these days is like that. It's interesting. Like, do you identify as an activist and like as or like an organizer?
I definitely identified as an activist for a very long time, ever since I was in high school. Like I started a literal like variety show to raise money for local HIV and AIDS charities.
I just feel like this is so part of your identity.
in like the mid 90s when like doing that as a teenager was crazy. So it is a part of who I am, but like now in some ways the word activist makes me cringe in terms of myself because
Sure.
there are people who are full-time activists. That's their
Right.
job. That's their
Totally.
life.
I agree.
I don't want to take something away from them because I can post a story to my 250,000 followers and I can donate money to causes. Like that doesn't make me a full-time activist. But yes, it is been a part of, I have been involved in like raising money, whether I had the money yet or not. I have been involved in raising money for good causes my whole life.
Right.
Or since I was old enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it is a part of who I am, but like the term activist, like you see like,
I kind of think you are because I think you have so much power and like such a big platform and you're very aware of how you use it. And like I just think that that's the energy I get from you is that you like are trying to like rise to an occasion. And the thing about that is that it's really exhausting.
it's exhausting.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to be like annoyed by it.
You know,
Just like
put a
it's
pin in it,
just
put a
like
pin in it.
it
I
is- it's exhausting.
I agree with I agree with aspects of what both of you are saying. I do think like the thing that I resonate with what you're saying, Justin, is like there is a level to which people value like celebrity opinion.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Totally.
Yeah. And like I think I hope we're in the middle of a cultural change regarding that. I mean, it's not that what people in the entertainment industry think cannot be, you know, impactful and important literally and like have, you know, adverse or positive effects. I
right.
think we take it upon ourselves to be like very politically informed and outspoken, but I would hesitate to call myself an activist. I think I think about politics a lot and it consumes a lot of my time. But I do hear what you're saying about like giving respect to people who actually are organizers and who are like, you know, dealing with like community land trusts, like our friend who we were talking to the other night. Like I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Different
it's
way.
Well, and I think there's like thank you for saying I rise to the occasion because I do try, I do care.
Yeah, of
and
course.
caring's exhausting. But it's all in moments where I'm like, how did this interview about pop music turn into this?
That's
and also
frustrating.
like I might not be educated on all of it and I might fuck it up. It's just a
Right, that
fucking
makes
totally
you,
stressful
I hate
shit
that.
show.
stressful.
Totally.
And the last thing is like, this is a really exhausting time where I think a lot of us are being asked to like ramp up our organizing and our activism. And like, I'm starting to think about kind of like how to be judicious about cool pronunciation of that word.
I knew what you meant.
About that. And like, if we're having to give a speech about politics in like every interview that we're giving, it's like, I think there's like a finite amount of energy, and it's like, I need to save that for like the spaces where I'm actually having like those conversations and strategizing with people.
Yeah.
And like not give it to, you know, someone from BuzzFeed.
Also, like,
Sorry. No offense.
What year is
I don't
it?
know why
Yeah, slay.
BuzzFeed caught that stray.
but also like for me, like being able to like really focus on pop music and make a bunch of money and give it to full-time activists, I'm learning like is my actual superpower.
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah.
access to things that can like give full-time people their
You're a redistributor.
their thing.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
so funny. I was making a joke about how annoying is it that we have to talk about politics in every interview, and then we all just did it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we could go
this
forever.
Is who we are.
We-
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
help it.
I joined into it. That wasn't shade to you. That was shade to all of us. I feel like what's so beautiful about talking about collaboration with your collaborators is that you're allowed to talk about things if you were doing an interview alone, you maybe aren't sure if you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were so wonderfully kind with sharing like some of the harder parts of collaboration. So I think what would be super cool is, what is your favorite part of collaborating with each other?
Cutie.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I can
Cute.
think with my main collaborators, I could like think of 2 things for each of them right now. Can you two's too many? Think of one that you're your favorite thing about each person when you're making music together.
Well, there's favorite things about each person, but also like the first thing that enters my head is like, we've had a lot of like synchronicity moments in making this album where it's like it's such a good feeling to have like a mind meld. You're laughing at the dog.
Chicken, sorry.
I wish you could see. It's really
He wants to.
He
He's
wants to.
tempting it.
Mind meld.
mind meld, and it's like where we all have like the same idea about what a song needs in the same moment. Like it's just so gratifying because it's like we worked really hard on, you know, like honing our instincts in that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, either like, so it's like mind meld, but also there are things where like sometimes you get like so surprised by something. Like there are things that they'll do if I'm like not in the studio and then like I'm returning and it's like they made a song so much cooler.
Cool.
It's just like, not to be like that, what I'm most grateful for is like not having to do labor to make something better. But honestly, that is amazing.
But
There's
that's
part of what you do that I don't want to do at all. So
I love
Right.
it when
It's
that
fine.
happens.
The point of collaborating is that someone's helping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
I think
nice.
it's very fair to celebrate that someone slayed it while you were like drinking with your partner. I
Yeah,
think that's totally
exactly.
fine to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I think it's similar to what you're saying. I think with this record in particular, it's always fun when you just like, you know, you've made something good.
Mhm.
You like send the demo to the text group,
Mhm.
and then we're like all being excited about it.
Yeah.
I think we can all get really like psyched on
That's fun.
stuff when we feel like something good has happened, or like it's fun to like, I don't know, just talk about something a couple days later and be like, wait, this song actually is bangs
We
or
slayed.
something.
Yeah.
And that's really fun.
Yeah.
And
It's like-
exciting.
Yeah. Sharing the fruits of your labor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And there is
really
a
fun.
magic about like when it's not the world going, oh my God, you guys, you slayed that song. It's just like only 3 people have heard it, and the
It's
3 people are
exciting.
you. And you're like, oh, fuck this feel. It has that little feeling.
Yeah. That little feeling for sure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think it's that we make something that, at least for me, is stimulating in the sense of it being pop, but there's a complexity, I think, in the music that we make that satisfies me more than like the other things I get to do. And like I don't know, I know when we're going to make something, it's going to scratch that itch of it being pop and also being something that's like super chewy.
Yeah.
And it tastes the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That tastes good.
Something that tastes good. And as someone who's been lucky enough to collaborate with you guys a couple times, I think a really valuable lesson that people could learn is that you're all willing to let everybody do everything, but everyone does in like an unspoken way sort of have like their assigned strength, right? So you're focusing on like the story and the lyric, but very open to everyone else contributing to that. You're on the computer focusing on producing, and you have an instrument in your hand almost at all times and are focusing on that. But what has been really cool for me to see is like, even though everyone has like their unspoken assigned strength, that when somebody else jumps in with a lyric, with a production idea, with an instrument idea, you let it happen. And I think like you guys might be so used to that. So me as an outsider, anyone who's like trying to figure out how to collaborate, it is a very cool thing of like, we kind of know what each person does mainly, but also totally acceptable to jump in. And it's like,
and like actually kind of integral. Like it's really important.
It's really important.
If we just stuck to like these rigid roles as a band, it's like, that's actually like really denying everybody's personhood. Because it's like everybody has the potential to be like all of these things within the band. So it's important that we kind of like foster each other's movements in those ways.
I love it. Okay, so we have 2 songs on the record.
Yes.
Girls, Girl.
Girls, Girl.
And then Mary Jane. The reason why I was unsure of the second song is because that's where there was a different process.
Totally.
So what is it like, before we dig into the actual specifics of the song, what is it like bringing in a guest star in your very long-term collaboration?
Oh, well, it depends on who it is.
I think we're very. I think because of like the inherent like insularity of our group, like we're very particular about who we bring in, and we don't bring in. You know, there's only a couple of songs on this album that are co-writes, and it's with people we've worked with before, like you and Leland and Dan Toshin, who is amazing, and all people that we love and like have rapport with and relationships with. We typically won't do something if we aren't like on some kind of we don't have some kind of relationships
like rapport
with, because we all like need that to be able to like actually make the most of bringing someone in and their strengths, and like being able to openly collaborate and not just like spend the entire time getting to know each other and then make like the worst song that's ever been made, which has happened.
I mean, I think it's what was so like pleasurable about working with you is that like some of the things that I find to be really scary, like I still find co-writing to be kind of scary, and like throwing out ideas with like, even just with them, like, so let alone like somebody that I don't know as well. But it's like, you are so seasoned at it that I think you can kind of like, you bring about this nonchalance to the process where it's like, it's fun and let's try it and let's be silly, and it's like no big deal, and you can kind of like trick people.
So you deceived us.
You deceived us into having a song.
But we did have a lot of fun.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's also a shared understanding, I think, though, too.
Yeah.
Like, not to be like, well, because you're gay, but I mean, like, there's an understanding.
But because I'm gay.
But you're gay.
There is a safety in terms of our mutual identities.
Yeah.
And there, I think, is like, the more I do co-writing, like, outside of the band, there's something about queer people that you just get it.
It's better.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
you're
you need to feel
in a
safe.
different way.
Well,
to be honest,
in our song "Girls, Girl," right? Like
in a gay way,
listening in a gay way, and in "Girls, Girl," it's very much like inside lesbian baseball in terms of the verses, but in terms of the chorus, it's just like, oh, so you love everybody but me.
Except for me.
Which is the whole world can relate to.
Totally.
But we were able to, because, you know, I'm not just a fag. I have many lesbian friends, one of them sitting right there.
Which is the best kind of gay.
That's what we need.
That sort of lesbian inside baseball for the verses, we could all have a blast with, but then be pop writers and make sure that chorus can relate to anybody, being like, oh, so you love everybody but me. Fuck you.
Yeah. And we were lucky also, like, on the day that we had that session, like, I did come in kind of like locked and loaded with like this crazy thing that had happened.
Yeah.
But you came in with the title.
And you came in and
did I?
Yes,
yeah, you
don't
did.
Remember this?
Oh no.
We have to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, we were talking about, like, I was like, it's crazy how you can find out like tea on somebody that you're interested in without even trying to, just because of how connected like the lesbian web is. And like I was like,
chart
I
is real.
accidentally got like my heart broken. I wasn't even fishing for this information and like found out this person was fucking on somebody else. And
Fucking on.
Fucking on is
they were
iconic.
fucking on.
Iconic.
And I don't know what happened just then, but
I loved it.
Totally.
But yeah, and you were like, I've had this title in my head, like girl's girl, and it could be funny to be like, she's a real girl's girl, and kind of subverting what that normally means,
Which
and
means, like,
basically being like,
she's fucking on.
she's
lots
fucking
of girls.
on lots of girls. For songwriters that are out there, it's like you should write songs from activated places.
Totally.
Like, even
Because
if
it's
it-
true.
Have this
It's
like
just true.
puritanical, like I'm already like all like therapied and out and recovered. Like by
No
the
one,
time
censoring
I
no
sat
myself.
down
one,
at
no
the
one
piano.
cares.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I think that was really fun.
Yeah.
And then like it was like
It's a cheeky, fun, like unserious song, which we don't really normally
we have a few.
do. We have a
We
few,
do.
but they're fewer and further
Yeah.
between. We're like quite self-serious, I think.
But
at
I
times.
think also like the other thing that came into play with that session was like you had that title in your back pocket. I had like I think I had written another song that was not a real song.
Oh yeah.
Called People Talk.
Mhm.
That was like a similar vibe of like this kind of like lesbian telephone game.
Yep.
And like that song didn't work, but I was like, but that could work for the verses of this song. Like
Yep.
this idea of like the chain of gossip. And so it's like I think that's part of what you were pointing to in the other episode where you're talking about like I have ideas that I'll be like toying with
Yes.
for years
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then they'll find a way. It's like then those things get collaged together
Yeah.
and make a real song.
Yeah. Mary Jane, the second song we did together.
Yes.
What I think is so cool about this is, I'm just talking about myself. How about that?
Please.
Is like a very much like genuine, real deal personal growth for me. So we wrote a whole ass song. 2 days later, you group text me and say, hey, changed a lot of the song.
So it changed
including
the whole song.
Every single lyric. Which
this is a classic Katie thing, though.
Which though the lyrics are my favorite part of a song, right? I
Yeah.
can work on all things. I can be a good collaborator in all of it, but lyrics are my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Me, 6 years ago, would be like, how fucking dare you?
Damn.
Me now, I went, awesome, I can't wait to press play. And then when you press play, you're hoping that's good.
Well, yeah.
Right.
But I was able to, at this point in my elderly state, actually be genuinely pumped and go, that was good. This is better. It makes more sense. Fuck yes. It actually was no bullshit, a cool moment for me to like realize my own growth as a collaborator and go, it's great. I think I sent you back a voice note with like one tiny tweak, but
Which
was
helped.
like,
Yeah.
everything is perfect. Maybe try this one thing, but if it sucks, I don't care.
You changed the post chorus for us, which the song really needed. But yeah, I mean, that's really fascinating to hear. And I think like the feeling, I felt like low-key a little bit bad and sad about not having that idea for that song, like when we came
were in the room
for the
together.
session.
Yeah.
Like, but also going back to this thing of like some things are out of your control of like when. And I think like, yeah, we had written another like song that like it was we use this terminology of like it was cool, but it like wasn't real in the sense of like we weren't feeling it in our
Yep.
like gut and heart, you
Yep.
know? And yeah, I think I mean, I don't know if I would be in that place yet to like,
I mean,
recognize-
I'm much older than you.
no, you're not.
Yeah, enough older than you. And I just hope, as someone who was in a band for 10 years and now someone who's had this whole other career, I hope that y'all realize like the fact that you're still doing this successfully and beautifully is really fucking cool. It's really like genuinely, as someone who was in a band and still choosing to be in this shit show of a business a million years later, like it's really awesome. And you should like all be very proud of each other.
Oh,
Thank
thank
and
you.
I think that like bands don't celebrate survival nearly enough.
Oh,
And
that's sweet.
So like,
thank you.
for
Thank you.
surviving.
Thank you
we need
so
more
much.
bands. I
Thank you
just
for
love
surviving.
bands. We
It's
need more
true.
bands.
We
Thank
do
you
need
for
more
surviving.
bands. Yeah.
Love it.
LOL.
Stream our album. Come see us on tour. Bye.
Bye.